Add it. Look, the camera's like.
Why are you going through camera? Hello.
There. This way, all seats should be able to be seen. Hopefully. Now, no offense, I'm gonna hand sanitize again.
And you should.
Well,
It's not, thanks, and it's not COVID.
No,
I tested.
there's like so many.
I know, I've been staying, like out this week. Today I was talking to my friend who's a nurse, that I'm trying to get to join this commission, and I said. So gosh, I've been sick all week, but I was like, I had 0 fever, and I was like, just achy and so tired. She was like, oh, you have what everybody else.
Yeah.
But I was.
You're like, I'm not missing this. They're gonna wheel me in.
Well, my bed broke yesterday, and so I haven't.
Your bed broke.
So I got this bed from someone for, and it was a nice bed, and it was like, I mean, it wasn't, it was like, you know, one of those beds from like Amazon or I don't know, wherever,
Yeah.
Wayfair or something. But it looked like, I live in an old house, so it's kind of like this old metal built bed. But my bedroom isn't, because my house is so old, it's very dippy, which I didn't pay attention to at first, but it made the bed like just mess up, sorry. And then,
Dang it.
which is fine, I didn't really like it. Anyways. So are you gonna be vice chair?
I don't know, because usually vice chair ends up doing all the work.
No, they don't.
In other organizations, it's like the principal. The chair runs the meetings and things, but then the vice chair has to do all the other things. So I don't know. Yeah.
School of social work badge.
Hustling. Thank you. Savannah, she's hysterical. She's one of your students, isn't she?
Yeah.
She comes to visit me in my office sometimes.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, what are you doing?
So I'm not her liaison, I'm her field coordinator, so she's not in my class, she's in one of our classes, sure, but so I know her name.
No, she's great.
But I know Mac.
I don't know if I know. What does she look like? Or whatever,
Looks like a student, she's got
long brown hair.
yeah, long brown hair.
Yeah, secretary, question mark? Vice president, secretary, anything?
I'll do secretary, you can vice president. No,
Oh,
are we
okay.
being recorded?
I don't know.
Shouldn't be, it's not like that. Right, we don't start till 5:30.
It's another show.
But when we sign, look, it is recording right there.
I know, but they should be cutting it down, because we shouldn't be being recorded.
So I had
Madam Chair.
nothing. So I had this, so I'm now the president of the Fourth Street Arts Commission. Which, or Arts Committee, sorry, not commission. So, and I'm pure administrator, not an artist, I've known artists forever. Two of my good friends are on Fourth Street, and that's why they're like finally letting non-artists on the committee.
Yeah.
So you're in charge of 3 things then now?
Yeah. Fine. And so
I'm like,
it's fine. And so I was like, oh, and someone's campaign, but anyway, so they,
Whose campaign?
Well, Jonas
Doc?
Schroed,
Oh,
he's running, I'm trying to get him to run for city council at large. But anyway, so I'm trying to like, so I'm on 4th Street. What's Molly saying?
oh no, oh
Don't
no.
do it. Don't do it.
Running to pee a few minutes late.
We'll do that.
Traffic,
That's
getting showers and see.
That's okay. We're like,
And so they have, they've been having, I mean, it's just, you know, not organized like everything else I've been involved in.
mhm.
And I was like, oh, and so we had a meeting with someone and they were very informative, like the history with the city, blah, blah, blah. And she kept talking about the charm offensive. And I'm like, oh my God, I love it because this is what, I mean, it was just like this perfect way of like, this is what they don't get. Like everybody walks around like with this attitude, like everybody, they're entitled to something. And it's like, no, this is all a partnership. So I have to pay. So I sent the new person on the city an email like weeks ago. She responded. Last night I went to the Arts Commission meeting. It ended up, I knew someone on the commission and it's like, hey, I was on Zoom. He's like, do you want to say that? I'm like, oh, no. And then I was like, oh, I'm supposed to introduce myself. It's like, oh, hey, and blah, 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 blah. And then of course today she emailed me, Holly did, and said, hey, how do you know, like, it's so nice of you to come last night. And I'm like, yes, this is how it's supposed to be, people. Like, you have to go be involved. Like, you know, and I wrote by the committee and I was like, hey, there is an empty seat on that committee. Like, there is nothing more, you know, better for your organization than to be involved like that. I just don't know how people don't,
Get that, yeah.
you know, so I like wrote the group, I mean, president yet, and I was like, not a. And I was like. Then I realized like she kept saying charm offensive, and I was like, oh, it makes sense, but I'm charmingly offensive. Like a charm offensive, right? So you're like, she recommended like going. So we're going to a city council meeting next week and we're gonna go things the Board of Public Works. You know, for like, hey, publicly,
Oh, yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
For like everything that you guys do for us and blah, 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 blah. And this is, you know, and hey, also, this is what we bring to the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of change.
and
Yeah.
so like that's.
Oh, charm offense.
Often, yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it's the.
Me, I'm just charmingly offensive.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it.
That's what I like.
Yeah, I was having a hard time.
I'm okay with all of it, though, to be honest. Charmingly offensive, I love it.
Or just offensive.
Going, yeah, going on the offense with your charm,
Mhm.
great.
It's right. I mean, it was just like this thing. I mean, and I was just like, when she was sitting there saying it, I was like, oh my God.
She needs something.
Yes, we're gonna take. They're on the floor? Question mark? I don't know. So. I thought that was a great,
Yeah, that is a good.
Yeah, and no, we're gonna have to, I think we need to take turns or whatever going. Something I don't know.
it's Wednesday.
And so.
What?
Yes, of course.
Well,
You know, put a name, yeah, actually, that's great, put it on the new business today.
well, I think it's interesting. That they're
That's a great
moving it-
idea.
that they're moving us to the back room.
I don't know if I missed that or like, so what was that? The moving of the renters.
So they announced that
I just missed it.
Dina, I think it was Dina announced that. Based on doable, her meeting is the first Thursday at 5:30 in the room.
Oh, I didn't catch the that.
Thank you.
Found a random piece of tape.
Good job. Way to be resourceful.
You're like, they don't need this much shape.
So when are Wednesdays at
10.
I also added,
Less than once a month.
yeah, I was gonna motion, I don't know if I need a motion, but I wanted me to add something. that just came up from reading what you provided?
Well, we'll do the approval of the agenda and then,
Oh, and then we'll do the motion.
and then you'll say. I would
And then
like to
I'll
make an
say-
addendum to-
I have,
I think Julie ran the meeting stuff, but I've never ran a meeting in my entire.
well, I have, these are a cheat sheet that you made.
I know.
Some good ones.
She was like, well, I didn't bring any of that stuff.
I didn't bring
Hey,
it.
look,
Yeah, you like the articles of, yeah. That's, yeah.
There you go.
that's
It's actually gone. At first I thought it.
oh, got it. Oh, because I saw,
And then-
didn't steal it. I just. From, or these were, someone else was board of directors. Oh, look, I could have given you this.
Okay, so Mom,
I'm gonna keep the square case.
Molly and Omo.
Yeah, because I don't think Jeff's gonna be able to come. And,
And Ashley, I don't know if anybody got a hold of Ashley.
well, it was interesting because after last. Hi, Molly. After last.
Hi.
After last, I finally got to go be a, sit-in. For the city council. Commission on Women, the first two ones I didn't get to make, so I got to go. And I was watching it at work and I had a late thing. And there was the day the power went out on campus. And I was, of course, I watched like a half an hour of this when the power went. And they had, which we can talk about this too officially. They had a, which I wish she was here. They had a SPIA group, an O'Neill group, do a thing about the role of women in
Oh,
the
yeah.
community.
Yeah, okay.
There was a huge report, it was beautiful, like I was listening to it.
I am a little. Thank you for coming. This is Molly, this is Tiana the proper.
Oh, you come in. No, it was.
Daniel or?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, much boring meeting.
that's a sense of sick child and also coordinate graduation.
You can sit here.
You can vote for your mom. Just kidding, Molly.
You say just kidding, I'm just kidding. So, I don't know, I could get my hands on the report, because I mean, it was mostly about the city of Bloomington, not necessarily about the county,
We can just ask for that.
but I wrote her. PPLA and Sheriff.
They, I forget, sorry, they, reported on that at the, I don't know if it was an annual meeting or when they did out the Woman of the Year awards, they reported on that.
So do we have to have 6 or 5?
Six.
So, and but Molly's on the way.
Yeah. Molly, the other Molly's running late, Molly.
Okay.
So what we're sort of almost, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like,
I'm too, well,
It's Maria. And Julie Hardesty. Yes.
I thought I was in the wrong place because I was trying to pull my GPS.
Oh, yeah.
So it took me
Yeah.
right at the 5 minutes, so I was like, well, I don't usually park in that park in that car, so why?
Yeah.
So I almost, I went down and I found that. And I came,
yeah,
it's the first time, like, I went all the way, I was like, I know, I like walking this.
oh, thank you for having me. Talk to the proxy.
Yes, we appreciate it.
You're literally the reason why we're all here, because if she didn't have it, we weren't coming.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right, like, we'd all been like. Just keep getting, well, and this is good for us, like, yeah, everybody should have. Who's gonna stand in for you, 1 or 2 people.
I know, I haven't figured that out yet.
Figure it out. That's the one that's gonna happen.
I
right?
have one, and I asked her for Tiana, but she. But she
well,
couldn't.
if we're full, it won't be so hard.
Right.
But
But
when are we
still,
gonna ever be
yeah.
full, like, man, I hear.
Well,
You know,
well,
so I would like to fix that.
Well, I think it's still just good practice, right? To
Yeah.
have something,
Yeah.
okay, so you're my backup 1 and my
Yeah.
backup 2 for, if I need to. Send it for plans, proxy.
I need backup too.
Yeah, I mean,
Cause the woman that I have for my backup one, like, she's solid, like, her and I are like on the same,
yeah,
and I gotta find another one.
I think, right? Yeah, you feel like babysitters, right? You gotta have your main babysitter, but you gotta have a backup, because
That is
you know, like, if you just rely on one, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna get myself in dire straits.
I'm gonna have a babysitter day.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, so,
There we go.
Where I went from, plan A, plan B.
yeah.
Plan A, never.
Are you gonna play a game? What game are you gonna play? Just because I'm nosy, I know. Because I have a 13-year-old son, Ezra, that actually sees Daniel at the Y. And Gal and I didn't even know that. Ezra was like, oh yeah, that's Daniel. I'm like,
Oh, she's on
yeah. Okay.
there are a lot of things we don't.
Yeah,
Playing goldfish.
okay.
Oh, that's a class.
We'll allow it.
So,
Yeah.
So I did at some point make a, sorry, I'm wiping up my water. Right, so, not that you're officially the note taker, but I did make up a template for notes. That it's been looked at,
okay.
and it just the reason, I went through all the. So I don't know, cause I read all this stuff, so it looks like this, so it has who's here and where they came from and. We were talking about putting everybody's. Date, expiration date on here, so that way we would know. It's just a PDF, so that way it just.
Okay. So whoever decides to be the secretary, can just kind of open it up and
Yeah,
there we go, that's fine.
I'm efficient.
We're gonna rock, paper, scissors.
Actually, hey,
Hey.
hey. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, I've been here, but I just got added to I couldn't talk. I don't know what was going on, but I'm here.
We got you now. Yay, thank you so much.
We're waiting
No
for
problem.
the other Molly so we can start for quorum.
Are you, do we have
Okay.
to do stuff with the chat?
What's in the chat?
I don't know.
It's probably,
It's that stuff.
Probably add
It's
that.
just me. It's just me saying I couldn't talk.
Oh my goodness. This mouse is a little much.
touchy.
Little touchy.
Little touchy.
Okay. Whoop. And then,
There you go.
oh, no, I didn't do that. I'm doing this. There we go.
Why don't you just leave it open in case? Just in case, period.
He's a member of the community.
That's right.
I mean, is that, if anyone's joining the meeting, they'll be able to chat?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the thing.
I'm privileged to be learning a lot.
Me too.
That's too.
Okay.
On every commission or committee I've ever seen, still.
Okay, Molly, ask Molly her ETA. I don't have her number. You,
She emailed it.
oh, she emailed.
She emailed us.
Is she able to get into the building? Because I know I had issues last time I tried.
We
I'm doing
we
the
seem
in-person-
to be good today.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you for thinking of that too, because it's finished thing in the past.
Oh, I do have her number. It's Maria.
There was a
ETA.
2-pack folding shovel on special somewhere that I really, that my favorites. Christmas gift.
Dang it.
Find her number. on-
I did, yeah.
Right? I mean, everybody needs,
Is it eight one
like,
five?
wherever I live, like, I need to keep that.
057.
Because there are trees down all the time. All the time on the road that I keep.
So you have to-
Some days so far, I get to pick them up, so. then we get it out.
Well, I was just gonna say, do we need to assign somebody to do the minutes before we nominate, before we add a secretary?
I nominate
You,
Nikki Williamson.
To do the minutes for today's meeting.
especially since you have a computer. You could just type. Usually we do nose goes, so.
Oh, we didn't. We need to.
I motion that Nikki Williamson take a minute.
I second.
Okay, not. That's not really.
We can't do that without a quorum.
I know,
I know. I'm just saying, we're just practicing. Yeah.
Officially meeting somebody taking notes
That's right.
before we, have a secretary and then that person that job. Right?
So, Caleb,
Somebody.
you gotta, you know.
Okay, here, okay, you're on, we know you're on.
You can't say, hey, Dad, you can't say anything, okay?
Oh, wow.
Move to the
That's
last,
a great water.
move to the very last. Please don't say anything,
Oh, I don't think it's.
I'll move it, touchy nice.
okay, Caleb,
Almost like,
You're making
okay,
them
I
nervous.
just
You're
said.
making them very nervous.
It's a good thing we're not very official.
We're fine. You're fine. Like, yes.
I got the dinosaurs.
Okay, so let's call the meeting to
So
order.
I'd like, yes, can we call the meeting to order?
We are.
Yeah. Well, you have the first or second, or you say that? Okay, so the first order of business, can we, would anybody like to make a motion on the agenda?
I would like to make a motion to
And then,
amend the agenda.
oh, do you say what?
Okay, and to two things. One, for new business, we need to talk about who's going to do the report for 2022 that's due on January 31st. And then I would like to add discussion about attending county commissioners meeting.
I motion to approve.
My second.
Okay,
so I motion to,
You're. Anybody else?
thank you for.
So.
No, all in favor? Aye.
If there's a member present, which I think Ashley is online, you'll have to take
Aye.
you can't do a voice vote. You have to do a roll call vote. So you would say each member's name and then have them vote.
Susan, okay.
Sorry. I can do it if I can remember all of your names. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Julie Hennessy? Aye. Maybe Williamson?
Aye.
and proxy for Tiana and Roger.
Susan Hingle, aye. Molly? Aye.
You have to say my name, Maria Douglas.
Ashley Hazelrig, I.
Aye, okay. Motion passed. Any opposed? No. I'm glad to hear that. Why are you from the meeting? Any abstention? There we go. Oh, everything.
Look at you, good job.
Okay, so we had approved minutes that I know we don't have any minutes from past months, even though it's on the agenda. I don't even know when the last time we had an official meeting was. I think actually probably before we were all here. The next order of business is the chair report, which technically we don't have a chair. So since I'm facilitating this meeting, I'm just gonna say. We still have 3 vacancies on our seat. I'm not sure if they are sitting anywhere in council or on with the board of commissioners, but please make sure we get people to apply if we know of anybody. It would be so much better if we had 4 boards, so we wouldn't have to worry about 4 all the time.
Actually,
Go Go
If I
ahead.
interject, I'm sorry. Before you get too far into the agenda, I do have an update that I wanted to provide the commissioners, or to you commissioners, that occurred yesterday at the Board of Commissioners meeting. The Board of Commissioners yesterday, they passed an ordinance that revised the membership requirements for the Women's Commission.
Oh, okay.
It reduced, and I think Angie Purdy might have alluded that this is gonna happen in an email.
Yes.
So it reduced the number of commissioners from 11 to 7, which means there'll be, I gotta talk to Miss Purdy about what the breakdown is and who's the last standing vacancy. But that should help you guys with the quorum issue, because now with a membership of 7, you would only need 4 present to have a quorum. The amendment also removed a residency requirement. There was in the current, or in the, before it was amended, there was a requirement that only a certain number of commissioners on the Women's Commission could live within the corporate city limits. So we just removed that language.
So to clarify, there's only one vacancy.
And I think it might be the Board of Commissioners employee appointment vacancy. I will have to check with them to see.
Yeah.
So, and this is in effect now?
It went into effect yesterday.
Great.
And what it also did was it removed the joint commissioner city person from the yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'm removed?
It takes that members out of the membership requirement. You can still attend, actually, obviously.
Oh, but we no longer have the voting seats.
Correct.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
And I mean, it happened yesterday, or I would have let you guys all know before now.
Seriously, one meeting I don't go to.
And Ashley, I think just for your edification, I think that was recommended and passed because we're having to change our meeting date, and it might conflict with yours.
Yes, I noticed that it may end up being the same exact time as our meeting.
Right, so I think that's why that happened, because it's definitely nothing personal. We definitely want to have a relationship
You too.
with the city. We want to have a relationship with the city.
Of course. And we want to maintain the very important relationship with the county commission as well. Offline, we may need to come up with some way to maybe exchange written reports with each other to be presented at each other's meetings or something.
That sounds great.
So is Ashley considered a non-voting member, or is she considered just a non-voting attendee?
Yes, I would say it to you. I mean, officially, now that it's not official, but I don't, you don't have to verbiage, I mean, so. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Molly, can I ask you if there were plans to communicate that to anybody at any time?
To communicate the passage.
You're cutting out, but yes, to communicate the pass of the ordinance.
You all.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it just happened yesterday, so they had asked me to just convey the information to you today.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So that changes a lot, which is awesome.
Yeah.
4 people. Okay. So, I think we can move on to continuing business at this point.
Do we need the commission expectations? I don't know, I'm new, so.
So obviously we had talked about in the past about committee or commission expectations about attendance, timely communication and setting a proxy, and I think what and then it was with Michelle, we had a meeting about that. And just talking about, obviously designating a proxy, you can't come here, we can't do. You're only allowed, what did we decide, like two, it wasn't official actually, because we didn't form that meeting. So about how many meetings we can miss before we get asked, because we can all do that, so I think maybe once we get a chair, a vice chair, and secretary, hopefully, well, we have a full commission now, technically, that we should all discuss that next month, probably, setting that groundwork would be a good thing. Because, in the hybrid meeting policy, we decided, what, I don't remember what we discussed at the time, but I think that's also, there's some regulation that you can't. Molly probably knows about being a voting. You can't necessarily, or you're only allowed so many times we can be hybrid or something. Molly, do you know?
Yeah, so the electronic meeting policy allows you to attend 2 consecutive meetings virtually, and then you have to have a break and attend in person before you can attend another virtual meeting. With that being said, there are exceptions that would allow continual virtual attendance, and those exceptions are like illness, sickness, military leave, bereavement, things like that. So,
But the
it's
quorum
soon
has to
on the
be in
regular.
person. But the quorum is in person, right?
To have a quorum, you need 50% of seated members in person.
Thank you, Molly.
That's really helpful. Yeah. Good. I don't think that's in any of the stuff that I.
See, I don't think that the online meeting,
Yeah, no,
hybrid meeting wasn't in here, but there was something about missing 2 meetings without good cause, period, would, yeah.
And if it would help, I can send you all like a refresher on open door law and the hybrid meeting. And I just acquired this week like a booklet on helpful tips on how to run a meeting.
Oh,
So I can scan all those documents to you.
That would be so helpful, Molly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
that's great.
Yeah, because we have our chapter stuff from 230 and 216, and we have a review. But not, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be as concise.
Or maybe current even.
Yeah, it's current.
Yeah, I'll provide a more current update.
Thank you very much.
Should we move on to continuing business?
Yes.
So I think, our first. Oh my gosh, what's the word I want? Thing of business.
Order of business.
Order, thank you. First order of business should be the nomination and election of a chair, ideally a vice chair and a secretary. Do we have any motion or any nominations for commission chair?
I nominate Susan.
A second.
Roll call.
Roll call.
So any other nominations? You should,
Great.
yes.
Julie Hardesty. Nikki Williams.
I is approximately Tiana.
Yes. Susan Engel, I guess I. Molly Allen.
I.
Every time I do, I just go over like overwhelmed.
Blank. Maria Douglas.
For me,
I. Can you write that down?
no, it's not like I don't know.
No, I know, you just black out her.
Okay, so what would be? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Or should I abstain? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Should we have any nominations for vice chair? And so to me, or we can talk about the roles. The role of the vice chair?
Yeah.
Want to talk about it?
What it is.
So I think it's just support to the president and to be able to step in as the president is needed, or as the chair. As this chair is needed. To me, because all work should be rather equally distributed amongst the commission. Mostly to me, I think it's just about either working with, you know, the government for the president and or the chair, and then you know, being able to make the agenda and hold the meeting. And then so that way the vice chair can support the chair in their absence. And
Yeah, you got it.
yeah,
And secretary?
and secretary takes minutes. I don't know what else, definitely the minutes. Do we have it?
Are there role definitions that the county would have for us?
I don't think so. I think you get it defined.
Okay.
That,
I didn't know if they had.
not that I know of.
No, not in any of those information. The vice president may, blah, blah, the vice president may act in the capacity of the president in the event the president's illness or incapacity. The secretary of each board or commission shall prepare minutes of the meeting, which shall be provided to the secretary to the Monroe County Board of Commissioners immediately after their adoption by the board or commission.
Good. Did we have any nominations for vice chair? I nominate Maria Nicholas. Hey, look,
I second. Any other nominations? All in favor?
All in favor?
Maria Douglas.
Maria Nicholas. Thank you, Julie Hart,
I'm proxy of Tiana.
Nikki Williamson, Susan Hill, I, Malagado,
Aye.
Maria Douglas.
I can't vote for myself.
Why can't you?
I did.
Oh,
I think it's great to vote for yourself.
All in favor, say aye, we all aye, all, already forgot those, any opposed? Any abstention? With that passes, the vice chair is now Miss Maria.
Thank you.
Okay, and the secretary, do you have any nominations for secretary? I second.
I second.
Julie Darcy.
Aye.
Call vote, Nikki,
Aye.
I'm proxy of Tiana.
Susan Hill, aye, Malagado,
Aye.
Maria Douglas.
Oh, good job. Aye.
That, any, what did you, any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes. Welcome, Maria.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Okay. So, we have, okay, the girls coding camp wrap up. We should talk about, I don't necessarily know how we should talk about that. I don't know what we know, what we don't know. I know I have access to the drawings where Michelle has her notes, but I haven't really looked at everything.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I mean, my thought is we need to, we'll start planning for that immediately. In, you know, January and February already.
I can, since I went to the committee meetings and was pretty active on that. One, I will report out on what I know, and then two, I think Tiana and I, because Tiana, the Luddy School was
Oh, yeah, that's
a
true.
venue. I think Tiana and I can kind of take responsibility for that part because we were involved in the process this year for 22. Of course. Oh, Susan, you can do snacks again, though. That was great.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm seriously kidding. So,
And if I can interject, I think it would be beneficial, once you really get into the planning process for the girls coding camp, for, maybe your chair and vice chair to schedule an appointment with county legal, because, I think that we realized this year after talking to Nichelle about, girls coding camp, that we need to have memorandums of understanding in place with the community partners. So we'll have to work together on getting those memorandums drafted. And I think it's just easier to knock them all out if we set up an appointment and go through them one by one.
Sure, we can definitely do that. Getting those MOUs won't be an issue with the partner.
Memorandum of understanding. And who does that go to?
County people and our partner, county or community partners.
So action item, we'll need to set that up.
And-
So that'd be.
And you'll need to give yourself enough time when we write those MOUs. Technically, the Board of Commissioners will be signing them, so we want to have them written and approved by your commission with enough time to be presented to the Board of Commissioners for their approval.
Thank you. This happened in September. It's all coming back to me now, just for a minute. So it happened in September. We started meeting. I mean, literally, we had 2 meetings because they have the curriculum, the county the partners being the Luddy School, MCCSC and RBB. They are, and Ivy Tech. Those were the main ones. They all already knew the process. And we had the curriculum already in place. So I don't anticipate it being a heavy lift because the past commission did do a really good job of creating that and carrying it out. Now, for 2022, I believe we had around a total of about 23 participants out of the 3. And, that includes all 3 venues. They met for a total of 5 instructional days. MCCSC and RBB were right after school. Oh, no, not MCCSC actually went to the mill. So the mill was right after school, RBB was right after school, and then Luddy was a Saturday, which that was the first time they had ever done a Saturday. But Luddy, I think, was a very popular venue out of the 3. I think the mill was not so well attended, but I also think we can do a really good, better job of one, now that we have a full commission, but we can do a better job of marketing and, encouraging participation. So that's specifically for middle school age girls or those who identify as females. And then the sixth session we had at the mill. It was lovely. It was underattended, if you ask me, but also it was terrible weather. And again, I think that I would love for all of us to be a little bit more involved and go to, visit some of the venues and create relationships with the attendees and, things like that. And I think that would really help. But we had it at the mill. We had a panel of speakers, which included people from the city and Jane Martin. And I mean, it was lovely. Yeah. Catered by Roly Poly. And the participants were able to come, bring their devices, or the mill had devices. They showed us their websites that they created, and they were able to pick what their topic was. There was world hunger. There was something that was similar to similar to a dating app, but similar to Facebook, where you could just make friends and be almost like online pen pal situations. It was so, and they did all the coding for it, and so it was really cool to see. And so I think the past commission and committee has really set us up and really has created a nice template for us to work with going forward.
So that was with a $10,000 grant.
Mhm.
Do we know the life of the grant, the cycle, the reporting of that? I don't know any of that stuff. I'm sure it's in somewhere.
Molly, do you know?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Okay, yeah. So that may be, that's a
So-
probably, maybe a question for Angie even,
Who's Angie?
Angie Purdy.
She's the. To the board.
She's the admin of the commission, the Cali Commissioners. Administrator. Okay. So yes, we'll find that out. That's a good question. Because the thing is though, even if we don't have that money, we have so many swag items and items that we use left over. That even if we don't have a huge budget or don't have that grant, but we do need to pay, we like to pay our Ivy Tech partner because he's kind of the administrator, superintendent, if you will, of kind of the whole curriculum. And then also the, what am I trying to say? You have them,
Liaisons.
no, interns, yes.
I'm like, I have them, like.
No,
I know-
I just know you have, yeah, so some of the interns from the Luddy
Oh,
School.
that's right,
and-
yeah.
Cause they travel to
Yeah.
RBB and
Yeah, that's
you know, all that, so we need to have a little bit of fun. So we'll find out about that grant, and then if we need to do any fundraising or whatnot,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Can I say something? I wonder if, just as we're kind of thinking about it, developing some, just for future years as well, developing some kind of, template or calendar for girls coding camp, like January, these are the things we do. or
Like a
February,
process
these are the things we
document.
do.
Yeah,
So that it carries on year after year, whether we're here or something like.
And not that I don't know that that doesn't exist.
It might, but if
But-
not, let's get it.
I'll take that on.
Okay.
Do you have access to
I do have the drive, yeah.
So eventually too, I'm gonna copy all that out, because not everybody. Because we're not administrators of that account.
Oh, right, that
And
was
so I want Michelle can't pass it off to
Got
me,
it.
because I asked her.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to take, I mean, we can do whatever, we want, but I'm gonna eventually copy it and move it to someplace where it has.
Sure,
a link.
absolutely. Yep, good.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything about girls coding?
Well, I just wanted to kind of open up discussion, right, about the people who attended and kind of what we thought, like, did we have things that we liked about it, or the things that maybe we thought, we could do differently, or just kind of, I just felt like we should talk through it a little bit,
Well,
so
it
we
was-
never really did.
I know, and it's interesting, and I mean, obviously Tiana would have a lot to say about it, and I know one of some of the feedback, because I was on some of the emails about it from because I was the snack person, which was great.
Very important role.
It was a very important
Yeah.
role. I was part of.
You did a great
I
job.
concerned, I was very. Yeah, whatever, but so I did feel, I think some of the feedback that I asked the Luddy, or I heard like from, I think the Luddy students. Was that they didn't feel, I don't know who it was, to be honest, but like that they didn't feel like they had good direction or communication with the Women's Commission. And again, I don't know what that. He just kind of said it in passing in an email, and I didn't know the follow-up, but.
The more communication with the women's.
Well, yeah, and I would definitely say, leading up,
Yeah,
and then attending, we never went, I mean, just, so. Definitely things like that, but none of us were involved in that hardly at all, really, because none of us were here,
we never got a quorum, like, there's,
yeah. So. But it is interesting, because like in all the minutes that I read, I mean, it has changed hands over time. So it's been like, because it was with Ivy Tech and it was somewhere else, and now it's landed here, which is really interesting. And the grant was just last year that they got, so, I don't know.
yeah, sorry.
For me, I think, that piece takes care of it. All the things that I was thinking too, that just being more, hands-on and it's not a matter of control, it's a matter of being involved and creating those relationships and.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Well, and I appreciate earlier when you mentioned, and this was something that I thought of too, is just being new to it, was I was just like the marketing. right, where I was like, I kind of feel like we should be seeing this everywhere and I'm not.
Yeah.
And so, and that might just be also all of us kind of getting more
Yep.
involved and then using our networks and kind of being able to disseminate the information in various forms so that attendance can go up, which is kind of the goal, right?
Right, and then when everybody's more, if involved in the situation, then we feel more, we can talk about it. And not just be like, here's this flyer, let's fly, I don't, so we feel a little bit more connected to it, we can talk about it well.
It's a brand new board. It's crazy.
Well, and I also appreciate the idea, or you mentioned it, I think that's what you meant, Maria, is even, maybe. I know it was opened up several times and the timing didn't work for me too, but even to go and attend some of the different sessions so that we, all the girls at the hooting event, like were brand new to me, but I can imagine if I had attended and met, like, I could be like, well, let me, like, did you figure this out? Like, let me see how it works, you know what I mean? Just get it.
Should be, we should be.
Us attending.
I feel excited about that,
It's cool.
yeah, it was really, the past commissioners really did
Yes.
set it up.
Yeah,
A great template, and we're just.
Yeah, agreed.
So.
okay. What else about that?
So do we want to talk about the meetings? I feel like the doodle poll result. So that is officially, according to the doodle poll, it was, our meeting starting in January is the first Thursday of the month at 5:30 in the Nat Hill room. And now that our quorum is different and Ashley is off and Jennifer, I guess too, right? Then how do we feel? I still first Thursday. I thought it was the third. It's the first Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, the third, yeah.
So Jennifer should still attend. I think,
I hope so.
because that's why we did it.
Or we moved it for no reason.
Right.
Jennifer's had a standing meeting for the last 4 months at this night.
Right.
But when it changes, it should be.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping, is to encapsulate her schedule as
Thank you,
well.
Ashley.
Yeah. Can someone clarify what the Nat Hill room is?
So it's in the third floor of the courthouse on the square.
Third floor?
Third floor, second floor, second floor, sorry.
Second floor? I don't know.
It's a. upper. 2 floors or 3?
There's three.
Yeah, it's a big room, where they ever. Yeah. Which means because here we get to be parking.
Not just.
So second or third floor of the board.
So January 5th is gonna be our first meeting.
Yes. And again, because I said it in the thing, in the email, that I was really against first Thursday because I didn't want to ruin. Being able to attend, with Ashley and us, between the city and the county. And I'm glad that, because I finally got to come to your last one, Ashley, where they presented, and that was really amazing.
Are you referring to our capstone class?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Did you like it or no?
Did I what?
Their findings, did you like the report?
Oh, yeah, I think that the report is incredibly valuable. We've been working with, this is our second class of capstone students. We've been working with IU through these capstones to help us. I don't know if they gave you much background on it, but we're looking for better survey data on what women in the community need. And so we just they created and deployed our own survey, which we were able to kind of pull some very impactful data and hopefully be able to craft some legislative recommendations for not only the city, but also at the state level if possible.
Who was that presented by?
I'm sorry?
Who presented the survey information at your meeting?
Oh, it's an IU graduate capstone class.
And O'Neill, right, in Spia?
Yes, correct.
Thanks for the minutes, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, and to Susan's point, I also sent a email requesting that we revisit that because I don't want to lose that relationship with the with the city's status on women. But what was the answer? I think the answer was like you don't have a choice.
Yes. You guys didn't see that
Say that
response?
again. Can you summarize it again? For my brain.
I had sent an email
We both
communicating separately,
Yeah.
communicating that I want to revisit our meeting time because I want to be able to attend the city status on women meetings if I want to. Or, you know, and I want them to be able to attend ours for the purpose of that relationship.
Well, and just information.
And if I may, just give a point of information, over the years, because I've been with the Women's Commission now for almost 8 years. There's always been kind of this conflict. At one point for a long time, not one point, but for a long time, your meetings were in the daytime, which were not accessible to a lot of us because I for one work in a retail space. I'm a banker, so middle of the day does not work for me. And we've got some other people that it just doesn't work. So it's always been a difficult one for us to even fill our voting seat. And now that it's not a voting seat, I still don't take it any less lightly that we need to be able to be present and engaged in what each other's doing so that we can be an extra pair of hands.
Thank you.
So just for clarification in the minutes, when is the meeting for the city status on women? What is that?
The first Thursday at 5:30.
Yeah, exact same time.
Oh.
But when the doodle poll went out, there were only certain times that were selected for us to select from.
Which I didn't realize that was, I mean, in my brain, in my new brain, my newbie brain, because I didn't realize that was even a thing, like we had to worry about, you know what I mean, like that we weren't conflicting with other things. I thought we could have a meeting, whatever, you know what I mean? I didn't think about Molly, you know, or maybe it's Molly present or whoever, but I didn't know.
So now our meeting and their meeting occur at the exact same time. So we can't really attend each other's meetings. However, we can pass the meeting notes or present the meeting notes together. Or maybe have a point person from each.
Yeah.
to-
Like Ashley said earlier, I think offline we can figure out that process if we don't have to like motion or vote on it.
Yeah,
So,
okay. Their meetings are public and recorded.
and then we'll get the process down in the minutes of a meeting. Yes, I think that's what will make sense. Thank you for everyone's patience because we're all so new.
Just keep learning.
You're doing a great job.
So that wraps up our continuing business. Our new, wait, what was your?
It's part of new business.
Is new business.
Okay, so do you want to start new business off with your?
Yeah, let's get these knocked out, and then we can do the goals because these are more concrete. I don't know. Okay, so I read in the bylaws or whatever these are called, that we need to report out to the commissioners, to the county commissioners, or submit a report to the county commissioners by January 31 of what we did in 22. So basically, we had one meeting, no, I'm just kidding. One meeting with quorum and girls coding camp. So, but anyway, we need to figure out who's going to do that. And when, you know, just make sure that person is supported and has also, you know, deadline in mind and, Molly, did we lose you?
No, she never came back last night.
Okay, so we need to figure out what format, if they want, you know.
Yeah, I'll figure out that.
Format, okay,
I'm
good.
happy to do it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And so you'll figure out the format and then we'll just help you put together the report.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Aye.
Yeah.
Oh, no?
No.
Okay.
So, okay.
And any questions, comments about that one? And then, oh, it says and expenditures, activities and expenditures. So I can help with the girl, we have the girls clothing camp expenditures. There's a spreadsheet. Okay, and then I also wanted to talk about us rotating who actually attends the county commissioners meetings on Wednesdays. I think they meet every Wednesday at 10. There's always, you know, the online 10 a.m. Which I have publicly
So you can
commented
go in
about.
via, is it still on Zoom?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So usually, except for this week, which I didn't go to because that was something that I didn't watch, of course, it was just the meeting that would have been great. But yes, so they're, you know, usually I'm at work and I just have it on, it just happened in my back. But yes, but if we could come up with some schedule, then I would say happily you can go and read.
Just some rotation and yeah, if we have decided that we should report out or just comment or just, you know,
Just observation initially. as
Or
we get the
observation,
lay
yeah.
of the land, right,
Yeah.
what's happening. Is that something that we want to figure out now, or do we want to do like a sign up genius where we just put it all out and everybody kind of signs up for what? I mean, I think that could be a good way to
if that's
pick
legal.
one. Is it legal? I mean,
I don't know what,
so
Well, yeah, because it's not.
it's for a goal for us, so, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna assume it's legal until somebody.
and we can report on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sign up genius
Okay,
poll, I
good.
can do that.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Sign up genius poll and also.
Are you taking notes about this whole thing?
I'm taking notes for myself.
Do you take notes? Are you a note, are you?
I do, I take down notes just so I like it stays in my brain.
Thanks.
So, may I contact you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
okay, so then that's all of the amendments that we approved.
Okay,
So what you had a thing on here.
it was about goals.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really interesting since we won't meet every month. I mean, we won't be another month before we only be a couple. And now that they've shrunk our voting, it's great. So I feel like we can be a very small but very powerful go-getter kind of, and I think we're all go-getters. We all want to do stuff. And so I think for me, it's just trying to figure out what that means. Like, to me, it's ginormous, and I don't know, you know, Ashley can help us define some ideas or some ideas of what they have done. I was so jealous of even hearing about, you know, the capstone project they had done for the city and the county, and you know, trying to is it, you know, identifying what issues that we think we should be concerned about, and what does that mean? Does it, you know, do we want to invite speakers every month, which we could regarding whatever issues that we want to do. I just don't know how we want to do this and what we could do here.
I would like to say that I don't want to double do what the city does, but we could, I think you're alluding to doing what the city does for the county.
Yeah,
And I think that it's not us that decides what the county needs. I think we need to find out
Oh,
from
right.
the county what the county. So somehow we do need to get out some sort of survey. I don't think it necessarily needs to be fancy, but I think that's something that we need to ask the commissioners to help us with, like how do they contact people? Because that would be an issue, you know, with email addresses or whatnot, but But somehow I want to find out from the county females, those that identify as female, what it is they want or need.
And so, I don't know if this is relevant or allowed, Julie and I are both involved with Monroe County.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Ashley.
I mean, and I don't know what we've done and now, so Julie and I are both on the board of the Monroe County National Organization of Women. And so to me, there's a possibility for a partnership there or some kind of, whatever. I don't know what kind of information we've had access to or that we've done in the past, or we would be willing to support, or.
Yeah, I mean, well, that organization has its own mission. It's got core goals that it's trying to focus on. So it may be a little bit different than what we would be doing here as a commission, as a county commission. But the reason I can say, like, personally, the reasons that I came on this commission was I saw that it was something where this group can make recommendations to the county for things that need to happen to support women in the community. And my first thought was, SB1 is putting women in a very tight situation. Putting women in a very difficult situation. And what can we recommend that the county do to support women?
Right.
And, for reproductive rights. I mean, seems like a good thing.
Well, now I'm trying to figure out, and I keep thinking about things like that too, in the sense of, what is our role in that? Like, what does that mean? Is there anything that we can do in response to SB1 as a county? And I don't know the answer.
Right.
To me, I love, gosh darn it, my brain is not working. It's just trying to figure out what we can do, right? It's like, I don't want to spin wheels on stuff that is out of our control, and like trying to figure out what things we can do, or is it motivating people or educating people about SB1?
Yeah,
I mean, is that
could
part of
be,
it too?
yeah, it could be just an educational role to say these are your options at this point.
Yeah.
And,
And so in this document, it says the mission is to advance the status of women in all areas of county life and to champion women's contributions to local culture and society. Very broad. And what I've learned just about advocacy over the last year and a half or so is you can do whatever you want to do, I think. And so, whatever we want to talk about, whatever we want to research, whatever we want to do that advances, and we always, just like in business, you always go back to the mission statement to guide your steps, right? So anything, SB1 for sure. But I think if we want to say, hey, one of our initiatives is to bring education to the county about what the options are now, then that is something we can do.
I was thinking about women's hygiene. I don't know I forget what the proper
The
word
period
is.
poverty.
Yeah. It seems like something to me that seems like something, a part of it too, where we could do
it.
yeah.
something else that I've been thinking about with the contemplating a new jail is supporting women who are incarcerated. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
What are their needs? Or is the new jail, is that being considered at all with any sort of new jail or improvements to the current jail and that sort of thing?
Want to make sure we.
Ashley, did you have a question? Your hands up.
I was just gonna say, I really commend this conversation that you're having right now around kind of like nailing down a direction. One thing that kind of helped us set a direction that led us to a lot of things, some listening sessions, the capstone that we're doing. We had I don't know how you describe it, kind of a working retreat where we kind of dug through what was the mission and what's in the bylaws, and kind of identified a couple key areas, 2 or 3 key areas. And that doesn't have to be, it didn't need to be like restricted to, like if one of our key areas was, for example, like you were talking about, education, and then identifying 1 or 2 passion projects to do under that. then that was really helpful in giving us some direction on how we wanted to move forward and give some shape to not only our meetings, but what we do throughout the year and kind of planning ahead. And if that's something that you'd want to do, we do have a contact for somebody that's really good at leading some of that. So if that is something you're interested in, let us know. There's, like I said, some resources for that.
Great, that's great, thank you. And then, of course, because of my new job, I'm interested in, domestic violence and sexual assault and human trafficking in the county. And because as I've been thinking about this all day, it's, the isolation piece is huge, right? In the county. And so that just compounds, and so what resources do county, Millway House does serve 6 counties, but really, transportation, communication, is there something close, like at the grocery store that they attend, whatever that they could, so access to services, I think is what I was trying to say. So to Ashley's point, I don't know how do we call, it doesn't have to be a meeting, it can be a retreat.
Retreat is right, yeah, kind of avenue maybe.
Because we all have so many
Contacts,
contact
passion, that's why they're on
ideas.
the board, right?
Yeah,
I was just gonna throw out my 2 cents of passion project for me is including and the inclusivity of trans women.
Yes.
In all spaces, right, as women, because that's who they are. And so that's something that I just want to speak out loud, like, I think we can be real,
Thank you.
inclusive for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And please, if we are not paying attention to that during how we're speaking, what words, can you help hold us accountable to that?
Absolutely, and I mean, I say that to all of us, right, in all areas, right, thinking about all the different populations of women, and that's why we're here, right, thinking about all those different things and keeping our eyes on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. Okay. Well, I love the retreat idea. I think if we could, that would be great, like a nice big work session for us to like really talk about, like, what do we want to do? I mean, I think we all like spend what they talk about our.
Yeah.
So that's what we are.
Do we have to, do we need to check in with the county about how we do something like that? I don't think it came down.
Okay, good.
I wanted to, sure. Gianna, give you anything that you wanted to share? Or you were just,
I just want, I wasn't sure whether I needed to say anything, but I know she definitely says about coding. She was supposed to retweet and tell me more. But I know that, it said, there was one thing she said, well, we take the position of the secretary. But I can't quite, because I mean, she's gonna get in.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And please
I
tell
know
the
what
person.
I was supposed to do, what I was gonna say.
no,
This thing was not- Taking.
Sure, thank you so much.
Sorry, you're gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna say, just tell her that we love her and we would appoint her for every position. But I personally know that she needs to, her plate's pretty full.
Not what I thought. So,
Her plate's pretty full, so.
Involved.
so I did also want to point her, within that with, even as we learn and resources and a retreat is, I don't know how this person got my name, but their name is Jordan Teskey Harrison. They are the director of the Indiana Commission for Women. It is a government organization. I didn't reach back out because she called me the chair already, but I don't know why, I don't know. So I don't know how the information got out there, but. So I didn't respond until that was official, but I just want to say I will be very interested because I never have been interested in creating the wheel. Because the wheels already been done and somebody already has stuff for us, so that's what I want to find.
Yeah,
I know This is the first women's commission in Indiana, so, it was, I think that's what Michelle was, I think that's what some of the resources I found said,
Upon it founding, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I know there's a couple others that using the networking skills, and I started even doing some research, women's commission outside of the Indiana, just to try to see what people were doing, what, I mean, the idea is the work's already done, like, I wanna figure out how to do it, or see what other people are doing, see if there's anything we're stealing and amending to suit their needs, so just know that that's what I like to do as well.
I don't know much about them, but I have. Sports.
So is the,
So I'm not familiar with exactly what they do, but.
Yeah.
so the Indiana Commission for Women is a government? Yes.
You
They
can
just had to get it done.
so there's state.
State government, okay.
And national.
Jordan. Teske, Teske -Harris.
And are there also women's commissions? You said there were others in state. Is it like city and county?
That, there aren't very many.
There aren't very many.
Yeah.
So
We're
part
on
of
county to have a
code,
city one and a county.
What if one of our missions was done with other counties instead,
yeah,
once we're,
so. There's usually a lot, city has it.
Yeah.
We were the first county commission of women's commission,
Yeah.
and then I think one is South Bend and one is. I'm making this up.
No, I think South
There are
Bend,
two other
City,
counties.
county, okay.
Yeah, because we're county, so there's usually a city
Okay, oh,
commission, but we're the first one to establish in a county. For the county. And then there's two others. That established for the county.
but there are several cities that have commission.
I think most
cities
cities,
have, okay, all right.
or hopefully most.
I didn't,
yeah.
wait, you don't even say what day it is. It's a daytime meeting, so they have monthly meetings,
The Indiana Commission for
we
Women.
have actually, it's not monthly. It's every other month.
State, on the state level.
Yeah, the next one is January 11th and 12th of Month.
Yeah, so we need to also find out what our responsibilities are. Or commitments to the state level, like reporting out.
Yeah, and since Jordan already reached out to me, I will make sure I get back.
That's cool. No, I didn't realize that was, yeah. Maybe it's like a network.
So Susan, you're handling the Indiana Commission for Women's contact piece. And then same thing, we'll report back, right? To see them use for next.
Yeah, Christie, well, and probably not, because it's the holiday,
Right.
we're not gonna hear anything, but if I hear. So, yeah, because I mean, maybe they have retreat ideas or ways that they can support them.
We are at 6:35, just FYI.
27 minutes.
Oh, really?
5:37 technically.
Oh, really? Oh. Wow.
Not that we have to go to 7, I'm happy. So I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be probably interesting for us to like kind of figure out how to best use our resources and picking.
Yeah.
Cause it's not gonna, we're not gonna be able to do everything.
Right.
I'd rather do 2 things really well than 10 things like less than mediocre.
Agreed.
Well, again, that longevity.
Yeah.
Piece of like, oh, this is what, I mean, for our time on the commission, this is what they start, like maybe other commissions will pick that up or, yeah,
Well,
it's exciting for now.
And I am, after especially all the things that I've seen so far in my other duties elsewhere, is I really, my goal in everything that I do is to make sure that I leave things better than I found it. So it is in the sense of making sure it is something that we can pass on, and it's not like someone is learning every time, which happens everywhere I go. And so, not now, I think we're good, because it's all the same people still around, but it's just that documentation like that is so important, and I just, I've spent many years in disaster preparedness, and I can tell you, I'm all about plans. So, oh, this is exciting. I'm so excited that we're actually like, with them smaller, the board though, like, makes me sad in some ways, but also at least then we don't have to. Fight to have a meeting.
No, I think this is better.
Well, I think we're all plugged in enough that, again, we bring with us like so much knowledge and networks and passions that, I mean, it just makes the work really like, oh my gosh, we really can just kind of choose. Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting, and I don't know what the, like, I don't wanna say conflict of interest, but it doesn't feel like that, since I'm also gonna be the president of the local now chapter. It just seems, to me, that's why I don't feel so happy, because they're, you know, they're chugging along the same line going forward, you know, parallel together. And if there's relationships and resources that we'll be able to, you know, whatever, I think would be great. So.
Well,
Yeah.
same with the city, right?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what I was gonna say. If we could build this string, you know, this, what am I trying to say? Just these relationships and this whole, you know, you take care of that, you're taking care of that, we're taking care of this, and we're sharing and all
Yeah,
that.
we're not all kind of siloed, we're actually all kind of like, okay, like, what are we all, like, how
That
is
was
this
good.
working?
So we have our action items, right? So our action items really, and besides the wrap up of the year-end report and. You know, working on setting up a meeting with county legal to work on MOUs. Which are not as daunting as they sound. Too, so they, and then networking with Indiana. And then it feels like outside of, I mean, moving forward for projects, like besides keeping girls coding camp and all those things kind of going, is figuring out a survey, or do we a survey to their people, or the retreat?
I think we should have a retreat
Yeah,
first.
it's a retreat. is a good idea.
Figure
So
out
we talking like a Saturday afternoon, or a Sunday afternoon? That mean that.
That way we're time, we're not having gone through a whole work
Right.
day.
Maybe we're talking like 4 or 5,
Sure,
right?
yeah,
3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
probably.
food, just kind of, yeah, just talking through, like, who
I'm-
are we?
I'm
What
just
are we
thinking
interested in?
sleeping bags and pajamas. and like everything.
We have to do
It's
something.
not.
Not really, yeah.
But that's right, we can make some.
Yeah.
Okay.
And have lots of good snacks.
Ashley, do you have any words of wisdom for us or any suggestions and oh, love the inclusivity.
She said she was gonna emphasize the contact they use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna, I'll reach out to Angie. So my thought too is because I like communication, it's really. Anytime I reach out to Angie or Dina, is it'll all come from our email, so we can all see.
Sure.
I'm not interested in gatekeeping information, if I do, because I apologize in advance, but no, I'm not interested in not.
For clarification, Angie is.
Angie Purdy,
She does.
she's the administrator.
City council.
County council administrator.
County commission.
County council. Yep, all the C words, yep. Not all of them.
Dina is,
She's administrative, I don't remember her signature.
So I think like administrator and Dina's administrative.
Okay. Remember, what was our word for today? Our phrase for today was. Harm offense, that one.
so moved, oh,
Harm offense.
another action item is the Son of Genius
Yes.
poll for who's attending the county commissioners meeting ongoing,
Yes.
right?
And this is, you said it was every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday.
And if
If we-
your job just does not allow for it, fine, that's okay.
Yeah.
Cause I will probably always have it on
Mhm.
in my office when I work because I can.
Okay.
So I'm not,
I will sign.
you know,
it.
if we,
Don't feel, yeah.
I think, to me, I mean, besides that, it's also coming up with the thing of how often are we gonna go and talk and present what we're doing in our emotions.
But I think first it's getting our presence
Yeah.
established, right? And I think it's great that you'll always be there, but I think it's also, part of it is like, yeah, we can all show up too sometimes, right? And
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
that she doesn't have to, she
Yeah.
doesn't have to do it all the
Right,
time.
right, sure.
Well, no, it's fine. But it's fine.
But still, like, we all need to be participatory in that if it's possible at all.
And I think we should report at least probably once a month, right? Once a month, we should say something.
Well, do they have requirements for that, or are they expecting anything?
No, it's
Show up
gonna be public
inside of it,
comment.
yeah.
That's what they,
I mean, there's
public comment all the time.
Because the
Yeah.
chamber goes and Christopher reports out on, you know, the chamber or the legislative advocacy that the chamber, that he does for the chamber and talks about events and things like that, just kind of reports out there what they're doing and so I feel like we could do that once a month at, you know, after our meeting too, to say we met.
Oh, Jen Pearl with the Bloomington Economic Development Commission too.
She goes sometimes.
She goes too, but I mean, I know her too, so she probably has a good lay of the land about the survey of helping, she could help survey probably the county, already has act. What? I don't know, I'm just saying. But, yeah,
Other things on the agenda?
That's all we have for the agenda.
that's the agenda.
Caleb, you have anything? Me?
There's no need.
Yeah,
Motion to adjourn. I'll second.
thank you, everybody.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ashley.
Ashley.
Oh, and another.
Thank you.
I can't talk about it now. 'Cause we just left.
Okay, can we turn that off?
Let's turn it off.
Okay, bye. Hope to see
Thank you,
soon.
ladies. Good night.
Love
Yes,
you.
I'll
Miss
see you
you.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Ashley.
I guess we just leave.
Yeah.
Just leave. I'm leaving.
Oh, I was supposed to ask for public comment. Public comment? No,
Well,
okay, good.
Well, we've already adjourned.
No, that's tech. I think those,
Yeah.
that are running the Zoom.
It's the-
Molly was legal.